Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and that means you're tuned into another episode of the Sleeping Giants Gamecast. No nonsense. Let's get into it.
Hail to the kings, baby. Hey everyone, you are watching the Sleeping Giants Gamecast, episode number 7. We are live, unfortunately, short one member, but we're going to roll with it anyway. Below me, we have TSG underscore the elusive man. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm terrible.
Good.
And to the right of the elusive man, we have Blue Radio DJ. What's up, my good sir?
Not much. Lots of
Nothing
stuff to
much.
talk about.
Always lots of stuff to talk about. We're on this episode. We've decided that we're going to answer the age-old question: is it pronounced Mario or Mario?
That's not a question. It's Mario. There's no.
Yeah, it's
That's how it's where you got to leave it off.
Yeah, no.
Just like
There's
that?
no. There's no.
There's no debate.
There's no debate. It's wrong. You say it any other way.
That's what they say, huh? That's how this.
That's exactly what it is.
So, Kyle, what have you been playing this week?
This week was a lot of. I finally got a kickstart on Control. I started that up a little bit.
Oh, nice.
It is exactly what I expected from a game by Remedy, which is, yeah, it plays a lot like, hey, I just finished Alan Wake or that sort of thing. Like if you enjoyed Alan Wake, if you enjoyed Quantum Break, I'm pretty sure you'll like this one. Except it's a little bit more out there, kind of confusing sort of style. And then kind of doing some other stuff on PlayStation. I was playing. Oh, what was it here? Oh, it's on my shelf.
When you say Control, before you go to that, I have a question about Control, actually.
Yes.
When you say it's confusing, you mean like the storytelling is kind of confusing?
Not really the storytelling so much as it was the like the character, like not the best way to explain it is that the characters themselves are good. Everything's good, but the way that it's presented at first is if your character doesn't really know what's going on, so you kind of initially going into things are as confused as your character, just because it's presented in a way like there's no real plot basically when you start the game. Like you can't tell what the hell's going on. So that's kind of confusing because you don't really know what's going on. So you can't tell that it's not game starts here, game ends here, and you know what's going to happen. Like even with like Quantum Break, you could kind of tell how that was going to work. Or even with Alan Wake, you knew that there was going to be some kind of
Story
Twin Peaksy shift sort of stuff in Alan Wake, but you knew that this is what happened and this was going to be the kind of stuff that happened in it. This you're not really sure.
And I mean, Remedy's kind of I feel like Remedy's known for making mind fucky games.
Yeah.
Do you think it's done purposely, or is it just like?
I think the way this is set up is that it's probably going to be purposely, because the whole thing starts and centers in the Federal Bureau of Control. So it's a fictional department of the United States government, probably future, just to get the idea that there is control in the government. There's specific things that, like, one of those kind of like 1984-esque kind of controlling operations, because like you have to read side things and like side files, case files, things that are redacted and stuff like that to figure out what's going on.
And are they like? I mean, without any spoils, it's more like a yes or no thing. Is like, is the FBC, so to speak? Is it like? How am I gonna say this? Is it kind of like X-Men? Like, are they like controlling these people with the superpowers, or is it just like not linked at all?
It's not linked as far as I've played so far. No.
And what about the gameplay? Because the gameplay looks kind of a lot like Quantum Break, but like more fun in a sense because
They,
it seems like it's free. Like
the game
like
the gameplay is a lot the gameplay so far is a lot like Quantum Break in that you have powers and you have a gun, uh but a little bit better than Quantum Break. And you don't have to sit through hours long of fucking television shows.
bro, that was like the best part. Did
It
you
was
play
okay.
Quantum Break, Derek?
Played a bit of it. I didn't really get into it. Not that it was like really well done. I didn't get into it. I wanted to give it another shot. I think
You
Control would be the one that I would try over Quantum Break at this point.
When Kyle sets up the way he's explaining Control to me makes me want to play it, and I've loved all the other games. Well, I really liked Quantum Break. I wouldn't go back and play it, but if you haven't finished it, I do suggest you play it and finish it because
At
while
this
the
point-
gameplay like wasn't bad, like the gameplay wasn't bad. It was just like mediocre gameplay. There was nothing special about it. But I do believe it excelled in storytelling, and I do think that the hour-long videos actually helped to that. Like
It did. But
Bring
at
that
the
story
same
across.
time, like that was their big powerhouse Xbox exclusive, and they didn't really wow me with it at all. So the other one that I played this week was I finally got started on the Fairy Tale game for PS4, and I was really whenever I write down or whenever I pick up a game that is based on an actual anime and not like an anime designed game like certain other franchises, when it's based off of a show or book, I'm always hesitant because I've been burned on countless occasions by that.
because they're usually
So
really bad.
there's quite a few that are bad, but there are really good ones as well.
Oddly enough, I don't mean to interrupt, but oddly enough, that kind of seems like the scenario with most book or movie to video game. Like, name how many licensed games off of movies were actually good.
A couple of the Spider-Man ones. I can't really think of any other ones off the top of my head, but a couple of the Spider-Man ones were.
Based off the direct movies?
Yeah. Spider-Man 2. That's probably one of the best movie games. That was the one that had like the influential web slinging. The only time that they ever did as good as that web slinging free flow open world thing, the only time that they reproduced that was in this new one for PS4.
Okay, continue on with your anime.
So Fairy Tale, basically I was worried because the last game I got based on an anime that I enjoy was Tokyo Ghoul, and that one was just absolute fucking garbage. But this one they actually tried, and it's a nice turn-based RPG with side quests and a main story and all sorts of things. So it's good. I'm pleased.
You've piqued my interest.
I'm
what world
pleased.
is this? Fairy Tales?
Fairy Tale, yeah.
I don't know of this anime. What am I getting into if I decide?
If you were to...
as somebody who's never watched the anime, but I do appreciate some animes, and I also love RPGs. How would you sell me this game? Derek's just muted us because he doesn't. When you said
Oh, I
anime,
fucking tuned out the second I heard Fairy Tale.
Yes.
What came to my mind was look into your heart and fucking stop listening for a bit, Eric.
Fairy Tale is the name of the guild. It's a world about magic. And there's all these different guilds, and Fairy Tale is a guild full of different all different types of people, different types of magic. The main character is this pink-haired guy named Natsu. He's a dragon slayer. So he's got like...
Did you say his name was Nazi?
not Natsu, like Natsu, not Nazi.
Okay, Natsu. Okay, sorry, my
Yeah.
bad. I just wanted to make sure.
since he's a dragon, all of the dragon slayers have little miniature cats with them. There's like 4 or 5 dragon slayers, and they've each got a little cat. His is a blue cat named Happy, and it's got wings and flies and stuff. And and then all of them are different. Every different mage has a different power, and they're all different, unique characters.
Do the cats play a role in the
They
RPG
do.
elements? Like, are they actually like a pet, or are they just kind of like there for story?
No. Well, they're there for story, but they also are part of the game as well.
Okay. Intriguing. But do they look into each other's hearts? Is the real question.
Friggin' okay. So the first mission, I think they don't win, or they do win with the power of friendship. So I'm not gonna. Basically, it was like, it's like, all right, guys, we're all beat down, never give up, and then power of friendship, and then they're all back on their feet, fully healed, and then you beat the bad guy. So.
Was there like a 6-minute cutscene of like a guy like
I did.
like a guy like over a body of like someone over like a dead body, and it's like and like some Japanese girl chanting, and there's like cherry blossoms falling down, and it's like
No.
and then all of a sudden like the light lights up, and it's like 10 minutes of charging up like Dragon Ball. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to get a vision. I didn't know what I'm getting into here.
I also want to say on this whole power of friendship thing. All right, one time I was biking with a friend, and I hit a rock, and I flew over my handlebars, and I scraped up my knees and elbows, and I hurt myself pretty bad. The power of friendship did fuck all to heal me. Okay, so not selling me on this game.
And what about the RPG? You said it's like turn-based RPG mechanics, or
yeah.
If you were to like put it close to like the closest popular game you can link it to. I'm just trying to get an idea of.
Shoot.
Is there like
it's basically set up as in like you go through like every character gets their turn to attack, use their item, magic, or whatever, and then it'll show you on the layout of kind of like a grid of where it's going to hit and where it's going to hit hardest. Terms of what game, I don't know, popular wise, like it has the same kind of typical JRPG stuff that you're going to get out of any old Final Fantasy. Attack, item, magic, that sort of thing. And then every character has their turn and then switches to the enemy, and then
okay,
basically any good JRPG combat.
Okay. Do you get to build your own party, or is it like mostly just kind of set?
Well, it's you do build your own party, but it's going to be of the main fairy tale characters. So,
okay, cool. Anything else?
Nah, those were the two ones that I played the most. Obviously, anything else that we played.
Cool. Okay, good. GTFO, STFU. Derek,
Just out of curiosity, did you happen to play any more of the game I told you not to talk about till you beat?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to make sure you've played more, because I am interested in hearing more about it at a later date and time.
Okay,
I think you actually finished it.
Did you?
It.
I did beat it. Yeah,
you did.
I did beat it.
Fucking
yeah.
A. All right.
Okay, so I didn't want to talk about it because you just told
I
you
said,
were like,
I said not until you beat it. You've beaten it, so you are free to talk about it. So I would really like to hear, because I recently sold my PS4 because it was also sitting there collecting dust, and someone I know needed it more than I did.
mm,
The dumpster.
wow.
Yes, the dumpster out back of the Denny's, which we don't have here. I figured the dumpster out back of the Denny's sounds good. No, so like overall, then what were your thoughts on it? Like, I'm curious. Like, now that you've gone through the game, you've gone through the story, without any spoilers, obviously. What is your takeaway? How do you feel about the game as a whole? Me personally, I'd like to know more story-wise how you felt about it, but obviously if you have anything else that you want to throw in, go ahead. I'm just curious about the story.
Okay, well, everybody else is going to say that, like, what I've noticed so far is the big trend is that everybody thinks that it's, awful, and there's a large percentage of people that think it's bad. But I think it's because they're comparing it very hard to Last of Us. While I think Last of Us 1 is better, not by much. Not by much.
This is strictly story wise. We're talking.
This is strictly story wise, not by much, because the companionship and story between Joel and Ellie in the first one was very good. You're getting that twice, and this isn't ruining it for anyone. Everybody, I think, by this point knows that you split the time as two main characters, Ellie and Abby in Last of Us 2. And everybody seemed to have a big problem with the fact that, you know, Ellie is the main character. She has been 2 games now. But
it's voice acted by Laura Bailey, right?
no, Abby, the new character, is voice acted by Laura Bailey. Ashley Johnson does the voice for Ellie. Laura Bailey, and see, this is the thing I don't get. Laura Bailey ended up getting like death threats and all this stuff over her portrayal of Abby, and just people are they're insane.
People are toxic and garbage.
But it's just toxicity, because as I played through the story, as I played through Abby's half of the campaign, I liked it. I liked her as a character. She was different from Ellie, which was good. She reminded me more of playing like Joel in the first one. And she had growth to her character. Ellie also did, but to a different degree. Like each one was in a different place by the end of that game. The story was good. I liked the way that they did. Okay, here's the two of them starting in their different areas, and then going Ellie starts in Jackson, and then it goes Seattle day 1, day 2, day 3, and then it does the same thing for Abby. She starts in one place, and then it does Seattle day 1, day 2, day 3, and then they meet. They combine the stories later on.
See, part of the hate. Correct me if I'm wrong, but part of the hate towards. I personally love Laura Bailey, for the record, and I haven't even heard.
Well, I do too. Yeah,
I haven't heard her acting in this specifically, but I love her as a voice actor. She is very talented. So my understanding is that she did a really good performance in the game, but for some reason there's some fan people. I'm not going to say boys or girls, just fan peoples who are just upset that she's like kind of taking the light away from Ellie, right?
Well, that's the whole point, is that everybody is, you can see it. Everybody's just afraid that half of the game you spend is Abby, and you could tell that they're afraid that it's going to branch into The Last of Us, the continuation. Not to say that there is any or not, because I'm not going to say anything about the end, but they're afraid that if they do another one, that it's going to be Abby now, right? Like, and not Ellie. And that's part of the big hate. But it's the same thing with anything. Like when you bring in a new character, a new big important character to a franchise, if they start taking the spotlight from a character you've already loved from a game that's as popular as The Last of Us, there's going to be some hate. I wouldn't call the people that disliked Laura Bailey fans of Last of Us 2 either. I'd call them just absolute toxic pieces of garbage.
It's a hot take, but I like it. I wonder if moving forward, though, I mean, there could be a world where they make a Last of Us game for each character, right? I doubt they'll do it because that's not a Naughty Dog thing, but I mean, it's just...
Well, no, it could be, because I mean, like, again, I don't want to say anything, but like it could be. So if they did decide to do that, like for Uncharted Lost Legacy was a game, they didn't include Chloe Fraser in Uncharted 4. So they gave her own side game because of what a beloved character she is in the Uncharted franchise. That she was in all of them but 1, and that she wasn't in 4, so they gave her own game where she was the star, not Nathan Drake. So it's possible. That's a Naughty Dog example, actually, that they've done.
That's
that
true. Yeah, I
before.
forgot
So-
about because I basically forgot about Uncharted. That it was after Uncharted 2. I kind of forgot about it. It kind of flew off my radar, and I also didn't count any of the side games as, like you said, Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy is really the only one I count because there was that one on the Vita and it wasn't good.
Trash. How about okay? So you talked about the story. How about mechanically?
Um,
I want to know, like, obviously, because The Last of Us 1 came out how many years ago now? Almost 10, maybe? No, not 10.
PlayStation
7?
3. I don't know when on the PlayStation, like the end of the PlayStation 3. So I'd say like 2012, maybe 2013, because the PlayStation 4 came out in 2014 and they remastered it, I think, the year after.
Yeah, it was, I think, the first, like, remastered.
So yeah. So the game's probably about close to like 8 years old now. You're almost 10. Yeah, you're right. The gameplay is a lot better. Like the gameplay itself is way more solid in this one, and the ability to customize what, like, you could customize weapons at workbenches in the first one, but you didn't really notice a whole lot in gameplay. Well, like in gameplay wise, the actual ability to customize the weapons in this does help, because giving a bolt action rifle a scope with the ability to still shoot it from third person but zoom into first person to bring up like a reticle if you want, is helpful. The bow mechanics are not garbage. They were trash in Last of Us, and the bow mechanics this time are great for the regular bow, and then Abby has a crossbow, so they're both very good. The bomb, yeah, oh yeah, there's they tried to make things a little bit more realistic in the fact that when Joel crafted silencers in Last of Us, they were very, very, like, almost realistic, even though they were pop bottle silencers. This time they're not as good, which is what you'd hope, what you'd expect. It's just a silencer with a like, it's a duct tape pop bottle silencer. It's exactly what you'd expect. It'll muffle the sound a bit of a gun, but it won't silence the gun properly. Yeah, everything was solid. Like, you could crouch to get through leaves to block yourself from the sight. You could go prone. You could shoot. When you got shot, you'd land on your back. You'd be able to shoot from the ground. You could crawl under things and shoot.
And the camera follows you in a specific way. Very Naughty Dog-esque. Keep it cinematic. Keep you in the action with the...
Yeah.
I'm assuming...
So all of those, like, cinematic camera angle shots and, like, action things that they showed you in that one trailer at E3, where it was like under, like, Ellie was crawling under a van and then shot people on a ramp, like, that all is able to be done very well through the gameplay. The mechanics and all that stuff sets it up to be, you can do that. It's not, oh, this is, I mean, it's scripted. It's obviously scripted. It's an E3 trailer, but, like, you could do that if you wanted to, if you're good enough at the game.
This was one of the other complaints that I saw people making, is that some of the earlier trailers were showing, may not be this one specifically, but I heard that some of the earlier trailers and gameplay reveals showed, like, the game running kind of, like, smoother, or more, like, that there was more animations to it, like there was more depth to it. Apparently the final game is very good. From what I understand, it's very good, but it's not quite as in-depth and, what's the word I'm looking for, dynamic as they were showing initially.
I'm always going to say that almost every E3 trailer is going to get an up boost of what it is normally. Like, it's not Watch Dogs bad. It's not Watch Dogs bad.
Shit out of luck for Halo Infinite then, if that was up fucking scale.
Yeah, if that was the Halo up-res, then oh boy, we're looking at some original Xbox Halo. Anyway, Yeah, so I mean, good quality story, good pretty much everything. I enjoyed Last of Us 2. I have I spent all the time to get all the collectibles, looked at everything. I'm gonna play it again on New Game Plus to fully level up Ellie and Abby. Um, so I will 100% that game. So it's just a matter of playing through it one more time.
Okay. Going, I think we strayed away from it, but we're gonna go back a little bit. As I think Derek had a quick cue earlier that I heard him talking about that I think would lead into what you were talking about. Because you were talking about how certain people fell in love with a certain character, and how some people don't like that the other character's taking the light. And I thought that we had scripted down. I say scripted. I meant right. I thought Derek had pre-selected a potential quick cue, and I think it would roll in nicely to that. And if you're not ready, Derek, that's cool. I had one more question for Kyle anyway about the game.
Oh, I mean, I think for now we just keep covering.
What would the question be, sir?
Well, because another complaint that I saw on the internet was about the pacing of the game, and I think now, I think I might have brought it up briefly in one of the past episodes, but when they're talking about the pacing, it seems like the story itself and the narrative and how it goes about it is written and displayed very well. However, some of those moments don't necessarily translate well to the gamer, or at least the gamer of our generation. I mean, the current generation of gamers, because our generation would probably love this shit. I'm talking about like the Call of Duty kids. But it seems, my understanding is that there are some like long stretches of like story building or character building, and a lot of people seem to like be against that. But and this kind of boggled my mind, because The Last of Us is all about like the character development and the connection between you and the characters. So I'm like, what kind of fans are these fucking people?
I don't know because I don't know.
You could say that of any game, or almost any game where there's story development. The second that people aren't shooting and gaining levels and unlocking cosmetics, and this is where that little bit of Eric's fucking ADD kids comes into play, right? How we would always, you fucking like Call of Duty, ADD, unlocking things all the time. But I think that's part of the problem, is people just can't sit down and appreciate good storytelling in a video game. It's like The Godfather. The Godfather has no action for the first 3/4 of the movie. The movie's almost 3 hours long, and it's all story building. It's craftsmanship. It's writing, and it's the same with video games, right? You could go through an hour in a game like that where there's no action. It's just building story. You're traveling, talking. I love that shit. As we've all discussed in games that involve lore and stuff, like the Mass Effect Codex, how I'm sure all of us here sat down and would spend hours just going through codex entries, just learning about the universe and what happened from our humble beginnings on the planet Earth to the time that we, found the first Mass Effect relay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And all that after, like, but there are some people that they just can't, I don't know, it's like they don't understand that video games are partially a storytelling medium, and if you can't sit down and enjoy the work that the devs have put in terms of artwork, in terms of storytelling, it makes me wonder half the time, like, why are you playing this kind of game? Just go play something like Call of Duty. Like, go play something that will obviously hold your attention, because it's just shooting and leveling up and all that fun ADD stuff that Eric always rips on.
Legitimately, the only Naughty Dog game you should play if you can't enjoy a story is Crash Bandicoot, and that's it. Like, that's pretty much it, because all you do is run in a line and collect apples. Because every other game, even Jack and Daxter, has a good story. But every other game is like, Uncharted and Last of Us are both very just, that's all it is. But you're right, like there are good times that they have set up, and you can kind of tell when they're going to happen, because you're like, oh, this is a wide open space with some chest high walls and some pretty decent space. Like, oh, there's going to be some action coming. So you can kind of tell, but the story progresses in such a way that it like you're invested in these characters, which is good. Like even with Abby, when they can get you invested into a new character very, very well, um that easily, like you, and then they build on her character so that you can. I would never say that I like Abby more than Elle, because I don't, but like the fact that I could say I enjoyed playing as both characters is a good thing, right? Like each one had their own story, and they were both good characters, well fleshed out by the end of it.
This is when Derek was talking about when it's done, when a story is done good. I agree. I want that stuff. It's not always done good, but we're talking about
the story has to be well done. Yeah,
The Last of Us is
Mhm.
known to be good. So to hear these people talk about it, it's like, why are you shitting on these people's hard work for nothing?
Yeah.
The codexes have worn off on me over the years. I think when they first became a thing where you can like read entire books in a game, you're like, this is awesome. I actually prefer when it's presented differently. I like still having it there, but I find myself less and less caring about reading things. I like it more when they present it to me in a different ways. And this is in like either in a cinematic that could be good, or sometimes the Lost Odyssey was reading, but also I think that there was a voice talking over it. Like I think there was like somebody like reading it for you kind of thing. So you can just kind of close your eyes and listen to it, which is kind of nice.
but that's the thing. I do think that Mass Effect does really well, right? So the main plot points that you need to know of this universe are explained to you while you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's the offshoot, like, oh, let's do this, and the guy's like, no, don't you remember, blah blah blah, or however they choose to present it while you're actually playing the game, they deliver the main things that you need to know in their cinematics, and then they have, which again is they present to you enough that that you don't really need to dig into the codex, right? They give you the base of the universe, and then there was the two other levels of codexes, the ones that you would go into, and they were actually voiced over because I'm based on what they present. Like the voiced over ones in the codex were generally a bit more important, not necessary for gameplay or enjoyment of the game, but it was like here's a extra little tidbit of information. And then there were like the codexes that were just like a document that you would read that was like, this is shit that you do not need to know at all to enjoy the game. We're just putting it in there for the people that want a more in-depth look at our version of the universe that we live in, right? Like, so I think they found a good balance to
They did.
tell their story. I do agree with you. Sometimes the codexes or those little things, the offshoots that you can read, do get tedious. But
sometimes they
dependent on your enjoyment of the universe too, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I think like
all of them. Other games, I would barely read any of them because I didn't enjoy them as much.
Yeah,
Destiny.
I think yeah. Well, Destiny had some interesting stuff, but it was a lot of work in Destiny 1 to have to read that.
Destiny 1 was a lot of work. Destiny
Yeah,
2.
it was like,
but there was interesting stuff.
Bullshit afterthought. They're like, oh fuck, what do we do here? Oh, now it's the store. It's like, no, go away. I don't want to be loading up my phone to read Grimoire cards. Like, go away.
I think before Mass Effect, it would have been Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. So really, it was like a classic Mass Effect, a classic BioWare staple, I would say. Like
BioWare does it right.
That type of storytelling and the conversations you had, and the like, even every conversation you had felt important. I think though, BioWare hasn't kept up in recent memory.
Okay, let's just point out that the only time that they we're only talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, right? And Anthem. That's it.
I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
About many, I mean, it was strictly from a storytelling aspect. Okay, maybe Mass Effect Andromeda. I think
okay. I liked it.
I think already, honestly, I think already Mass Effect 3, they were kind of falling off the boat. I'm pretty sure it was a different lead writer for Mass Effect 3. It was still a great game. But I still don't agree with how it ended. I don't agree with how they handled the ending afterwards based on complaints. I feel like they built such an epic thing going in. Like Mass Effect 1 was like a staple. Mass Effect 2 built on that amazingly. Like the ending like sequence of Mass Effect 2, like the last like half hour of that game is like one of the most memorable experiences in a video game I can remember to this date. And
Yeah.
like it just didn't carry through. Like I don't know if like when you started Mass Effect 3, I didn't feel like what just happened in Mass Effect 2 kind of just happened. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, and that didn't carry through. It was a great
But
game.
the problem with that is, let's look at it, is that they had to come up with a way to start Mass Effect 3 as if you could have colossally fucked every decision up at the end of Mass Effect 2. How are we going to make it so that we can start this game?
They
But
could
they
have
should have done that.
could have found a better way though too. I
It's-
mean,
it's-
it's really abrupt.
But just think though, because I'm not a game designer,
true.
but I'm not a game designer, so I can't speak to how difficult it could be to do this. But if you decide to fuck the pooch and everybody, I mean, at this point, it shouldn't be spoilers. If you haven't played the game, you suck.
I'm also
Thanks,
trying
Fred.
to remember. Sorry,
But-
before you
Go
Sean.
ahead.
We need a little thing that you can flash up on the screen. Spoilers ahead. Too bad,
I was
bitches.
gonna, I
Too
was
bad.
gonna, but if you fuck the pooch and everybody dies, or everybody who could possibly die died, then they shouldn't have been in Mass Effect 3. And there should have been new characters, and they should have just built those ones. But it's like maybe they felt that, well, this is the third one in a trilogy, and to build on new characters. But then I think that gets sloppy and not wanting to put in the work.
I
You know what I
am
mean?
trying
Like-
to think of.
And imagine as like a Mass Effect fan who I'm sure the average person put in
Yeah.
over 100 hours into Mass Effect 1, and that wasn't even that long of a game. Like that's like from start to finish, if you know what you're doing, it's like a 20-hour game. I'm sure
I don't remember how many times I played all of those games, but so many times. So many times.
The Mass Effect 1 was highly replayable with the multiple playthroughs, the different characters. Mass Effect 2 strayed away from that a bit with the RPG elements, but then the whole conversation and team building and like the multiple story endings was way more advanced than what it was in Mass Effect 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mass Effect 3 should have made you feel like they were leading us to believe that this would be an epic trilogy where your choices matter. That was supposed to, that was like the revolutionary next gen hook that they were hooking us with, so to speak. And they were doing a really good job up until I feel Mass Effect 3 was still a great game. I'm not knocking on the game.
Spoilers for
otherwise.
Mass Effect 3, a game that finished in 2013. Fucking, there was a couple choices to the end of that game.
But yeah, all that to say, I think one game that since BioWare has not been up to cuff as far as I'm concerned, like even their newer stuff is not nearly as good as their older stuff.
It's just Anthem.
Definitely.
A game that does this really well with the codexes and the storytelling and the lore building, and I think it's probably under. I know it's a hugely popular game, and I know it's now a hugely popular franchise based off books. Is The Witcher 3. There's something about that game that you get so lost in the world, and not like a Bethesda playing Skyrim or Oblivion kind of way where honestly the lore in those games isn't that interesting. Talking to NPCs isn't that interesting.
It really
There's
isn't.
There's just it's
It's
a beautiful
really
world.
dull.
There's a lot of stuff to do and it's fun. And you get lost in it that way because it's just never ending stuff to do. Some of it's better than others, obviously. But The Witcher, I never felt like there was a dull moment, honestly. Like when I stopped playing for whatever reason because something else came out. I recently, or this summer, we are in the summer. When did I pick it up? I feel like
It was on
March or
Game
something.
Pass, Sean. If you didn't,
I
own it
I
already.
owned it. No, I owned
Okay.
it. I know. I owned it. But yeah, but if you haven't played it yet, it's on Game Pass. Go play it. I'm pretty sure it's still there. But
Hey, Microsoft, sponsor
I
us.
sunk like
We're not gonna
100
plug your
hours
shit
into
for
that
free.
game, and I was only getting onto the final continent, and I knew that was like nearing the end of the game. And I don't know. I stopped playing because some other reason. There was no negative reason to why I stopped playing. But I remember like when I was walking in the Sleeping Giant with the Jackson Bros. I just couldn't stop
No,
talking about that
no.
game.
It was the Jackson, and me and your wife.
Not for The Witcher, I don't think.
The Witcher, yes, because
Maybe.
you said, and I quote, that it was something about a noon wraith. I remember this.
Maybe.
You were talking about noon wraiths, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Bringing up The Witcher out here.
Kyle is the Noon Wraith. We decided this last night that your Noon Wraith is forever linked to canals. But yeah, no, The Witcher does a really good job of this. Like the main story itself is pretty quick and really well done, and obviously it's based off the short stories, and everyone's seen the TV show at this point, and we all know all that. But even every side quest you do, like this is something where people like Eric who's like, "Oh, go fetch Gammy's cookies." I never feel like that exists in The Witcher. Like if you actually spent time playing The Witcher, every side quest somehow feels like a main quest. Like there's every side quest is building lore, like how it would be like if you're reading a codex, but gives it to you in a more presents it in another way. Because there's tons of creatures in your bestiary, I think is what it is in The Witcher.
Yes.
There are tons of creatures in that bestiary that if you just play the game straight through, you will never see. You actually have to go and do the side quests, and all of a sudden there's like, what the fuck is this? I remember I was talking about a story once where I randomly came across some guy, some demon, some like pig demon. It was so long ago now, but he was like a pig demon, and he was like part of a cult, and he was sacrificing them to feed him or something like that. And they thought they were doing it for a god. And then you have the choice to, obviously, if you want to slay him or to end his reign, or just like let him continue, because he seems to be kind of actually like a nice guy. He just needs to eat. That is his actual sustenance, his people. And the Witcher is all, like the Witcher, the Geralt. They're obviously morally kind of gray anyway. So, but every one of those moments felt so epic to me, and they all had these little stories and cadence to them, whether they were funny or sad or just Geralt sleeping with hookers. It doesn't matter. But they all felt like they brought something really special to it.
Witchers need to get their freak on too, buddy.
It's true. Anyway, that's enough about that topic. It's great, though. The Witcher 3 is great. And I'm going to put it out there. Dragon Age 2, I think, had the best BioWare storytelling, but was their worst game ever otherwise.
What? No, it's not their worst game ever. Come on. With them have officially having released on their thing with the words BioWare on the two covers, there is no way Dragon Age 2 is worse than fucking Anthem. There's no way. There's no way.
That I don't remember if Derek and I just weren't talking anymore, or we just weren't connected anymore in life, but I can't remember if I saw him on Xbox Live playing Dragon Age. I'm like, oh shit, you're playing that game too? Or if I was like, Derek, you need to play this goddamn game, and he went out and I can't remember what way it was. It was one of those two. But Dragon Age Origins was a fucking masterpiece, okay?
It was.
That game
11 out of 10
was a fucking masterpiece. Like, if there's anything that brings you back to I played Baldur's Gate 2 once. I think I bought it at a store. My PC wasn't good enough to run it. I maybe played like the first hour of it. So I really didn't get that Baldur's Gate experience, which is also on Xbox and I want to actually buy it and play it. But it's super dated, but I want to buy it and play it. I know it's dated, but like I still go back. Like I'm sure I could still play Dragon Age Origins 100 more times before I even touch Dragon Age 2 again. I loved the narrative and the story of Dragon Age 2. Like just the storytelling and the voice acting and the camera angles, that game hits you in a certain way. However, the game compared to Origins was like, hold on, I'm trying to show this on cam. It's like, this is a micro peen, okay? This is Dragon Age 2, okay? Dragon Age Origins was just so much bigger and exciting in the world. And there was this, again, like kind of like how Mass Effect 1 had that replayability to it. You can go and be the different classes and be different characters. Dragon Age 2 felt so stale to me, like in comparison. It was a fun playthrough once, and I think I ran through it 3 times, like within the first week of launch. I beat the game 3 freaking times.
I beat the game a bunch too.
That's in the first week of launch, and I wasn't even playing it that much. Like you could literally run through that game in 7 hours. That's not a fucking BioWare game. It's like an indie game, bro.
I did a bunch of other stuff too, though. Like there was a lot.
Yeah, the first time I did everything. And every fucking map in the world looked the same. There was no
that was their
the same goddamn area. It might as well have been like a mobile version of Dragon Age Origins, for God's sake.
There was a lot of copy paste in that. But like I was the kind of person to go, like I had to do everything to get like exactly what I wanted as far as relationships with my characters and all that shit. Like the amount of time I had to spend to figure out what the fuck do I do to keep Isabella in my party and like
You just wanted to bond her, eh?
well, that's what it was. Hawk was Hawk's love interest. So I was like, how the fuck do I get Isabella to stay? Because she's the giant flake of the group and will leave if given the chance. What the fuck do I got to do to get her to stay?
Not playing
so
the
that
game.
was
That's a good start.
well, yeah, haha, yeah, no kidding. But that's the problem. You brought it up, the different choices and stuff. That game was about Hawk and Hawk's family, and
That's okay.
Like-
I liked the story. Like I liked the story a lot. I just said it was the best story I think of a BioWare game.
and then if you bring the fact that you're able to be different races and stuff in Dragon Age Inquisition, and then Hawk
I don't like
comes
Dragon Age
in.
Inquisition either, man.
You didn't like Dragon? What?
I've
What?
never- I
Bruh.
haven't spent more than 5 hours in that game.
Bruh, I loved leading the Inquisition.
Bruh.
I just loved killing enemies and being like, "You got Inquisition, bitch." But I mean, that was my own personal thing. I just loved it because I love the sound of an Inquisition. Like, I'm not
Dragon Age.
religious in any way, shape, but like I think the coolest things ever are Inquisitions. Like that's it. Like I'm from the office of the Inquisition. That just sounds so badass. And I
And
think
you're
that's
just
why I love that game so much. It's
I just don't like where the art style went and the gameplay went. I honestly feel like
The fact that they bring
all
people
feel
to
like
you.
3 different games, though. You know what I mean? Like they.
Sean,
Like
I was
Dragon
in an
Age-
Inquisitor chair made of skulls, and they brought people before you, and they were like, "What should we do?" And you're just like, "Kill them." And then that's like a throne of skulls, and I was like, "You kill them," and then you wave your hand, and then they die. It's just like, but the whole game, like the dragons in that game, the openness, and what I brought up is like Hawk is an important part of that game too. And you wouldn't have as much vested interest in Hawk even showing up if it was just like, oh hey, it's your it's this fucking guy from Dragon Age 2. Like if honestly, there's certain Dragon Age 2 characters, if they showed up, I'd be like, whatever, fuck it, I don't care. But like Hawk being there was good. Varric was the dwarf? Question mark. I have to play this again now. I'm very disappointed in myself. Varric was the dwarf,
wasn't he?
Varric was the crossbow. Varric was the dwarf. Okay, yeah, Varric. Varric being there was very important because he was the one telling the story of Dragon Age 2. So him being in your party in Dragon Age Inquisition was very. I'm looking forward to the next Dragon Age.
I'm
See,
very
Alex
reserved about how I
just
feel
said
about that.
Inquisitions are amazing. So I love 40k Warhammer Humans Inquisitor. Like, and the best part is I haven't never done anything involving Warhammer, and whenever I see those fucking memes involving burning or killing the heretics and shit, that shit just cracks me up all the time. Just because I'm like, yes, heretics. Anyway, sorry. I just had to interject that. Alex is here in spirit.
I am.
Alex is here in spirit as long as the heretics burn in holy fire.
As a longtime BioWare fan and a lover of Dragon Age Origins, I am obviously interested in Dragon Age 4, but 2 and Inquisition just didn't do it for me.
You just said 2 was really good, though. The fuck?
2's story was good. The game itself sucked, bro.
The game, the maps.
Inquisition was probably better than 2.
Oh, it was better than 2 by far. Yeah, I liked 2, but the copy paste map thing was a big issue for me.
Yeah, 2 felt way too closed in at times. Like going
Yeah.
through city streets, and you're supposed to be in this like new section of town, and you're like, huh, this looks like the exact same alleyway I was in that other section of town.
Yeah, bro.
Why?
Oh, look,
Why
this
does
alleyway ends in the same way with the same fountain and same fucking tree in it?
Why does this cave over here
50
in this area of town?
50 years of time passes by in that game. Okay, you can beat that game in about 7 hours.
You see,
Faster if you speedrun it, I'm sure.
not the way that I play that
But
game.
I
no
finished the
fucking-
game. The first time it took me like 20, but then I beat it 2 more times immediately after, and it took me about I think 10 or 12 hours to beat it 2 more times. And the story progresses over 50 years, okay? The game is that short. And what is that place where are you? What is the town called again? Is it the Wall?
Kirkwall.
Kirkwall. Yeah, that was
Kirkwall.
close. Okay.
You-
The town
You're
doesn't
gonna-
change at
what were
all
you
in
gonna
50
say,
years.
Dunwall? Because that's Dishonored.
No, I said the
Okay.
Wall, but yeah. So the town doesn't change at all in 50 years, for God's sakes. Not a single crack is out of
15 years,
place.
and no, it doesn't. What I do? Okay, I might as well ask both of you this because you're both BioWare fans. What do you guys think of the story-based DLC that they've come out with over the years for like Dragon Age and Mass Effect?
Don't. Damn it, cat.
See, because like I bought it all because I love those games, but like
When did they start doing story-based DLC though? Was it
Stor-
Mass Effect 2?
story-based DLC? Mass Effect, but the
Mass
ones
Effect
from
1
Mass
had
Effect
2 actually. Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 had your Mass Effect 1 had 2 DLCs. One was very small and one was big. They weren't that important, but like they were good-ish. The when the first DLC, like big DLC, started catching on for them was Dragon Age, because Dragon Age had, I think, 4 DLC things, and then Dragon Age Origins Awakening, which was a full like $50 expansion. You could almost call that another game with how big it was, though.
But that's like what The Witcher did, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that was the only time they did something that epic though, was with that game.
There was
think
like
actually-
4 there was like 4 DLCs for Mass Effect 2, and then like a couple for Mass Effect 3. And Dragon Age 2 had 1 or 2, and Inquisition didn't have it. But yeah, Inquisition had 2 or 3. One of them being actually important to the story, which is kind of, see, that's the problem, is I find a lot of them ended up having story points, which is like, if you didn't play this one for Mass Effect 2, you kind of, I think it helped lead into Mass Effect 3, and I don't remember what exactly happened in it, but it had something Reapers something, and it ended up the way I saw it leading into Mass Effect 3 in the way that it made sense.
Yeah, I can't remember. But that being said, if they do DLC right, I'm always down for DLC for a good game.
What about you, Derek?
I'm pretty sure I didn't even buy the OG Dragon Age. I'm pretty sure I didn't buy the OG Dragon Age. I bought the Dragon Age Awakenings.
Oh, the double pack.
Yeah.
The double pack thing. Yeah, I had the OG, bought the expansions, and then bought Dragon Age Awakening. And then this was during my times of buying fucking several times, though, too.
So yesterday?
So, no, I don't do that anymore. So I own Dragon Age Origins for PlayStation, for Xbox, for PC.
For shame.
Same thing with Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect 2, Mass
Well,
Effect.
that is really interesting. Thank you for the rundown of what you own. I'm calling to start the conversation. It's done. It's over. Timer's been buzzed. Hang on.
Beep, beep.
Sean,
What's up?
I have a bone to pick with you.
Let's do it.
Is there actually tea in your mug of tea, or is it coffee?
That's why I was showing it purposely, because this is a trick, actually. It's definitely not tea, because tea is trash, and for sissies.
Okay, so I would kindly request that you take that mug and shove it the fuck up your ass.
I'm going to get a Sharpie and
Cross out
the
tea
EA
and
and put a
coffee.
Mr. No, I'm going to put
Oh.
Mr. So mug of Mr. T.
Mug of Mr. T. It's actually clever. I'm surprised that you came up with something that clever. I just wanted to say I also had a bone to pick with Sean because he kind of screwed up our intro a bit today. Thanks a lot, Sean. I had a special mention.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I had 2 special mentions. One is going to be pushed back till next week for when Alex is around. I just want to say it's not that special of a mention. It was just something I noticed. We are doing episode 7 on August 7th.
Oh, we are too.
Cool.
What?
Isn't that fucking cool? I think that was cool. Fuck you guys if you
cool.
don't. I don't care.
Hey,
That'll only happen once because there's no number 7 after this.
well, until we do.
I was thinking it was like maybe there's a way we get. No, it's okay. Yeah, you.
I mean, we might get like a 17 on December 17th. A few months from now, that's possible. But like this specific 7 on August 7th won't happen again.
Unless we choose to like restart the counting system.
No, I'm not restarting no goddamn counting system.
Eventually, we're just like, okay, we've done enough numbers. It's X.
Yeah, if I got to 1,000, it would be like X1. I would reboot it with like a letter in front or something like that. Yeah.
V11.
I want to take a few minutes here. I want to talk about 2D side-scrolling games.
2D side-scrolling games.
Yeah.
I like where you're going with this.
I was never a huge fan of those games.
I love it.
And then I played Carrion and beat it.
You beat it?
It was the first 2D side scroller I've ever beaten that I've ever bothered playing through because it was just such an awesome fucking game.
So strange. How long was it, out of curiosity? I don't mean to derail you. I'm just.
It wasn't that long. I think it ended up being maybe 7-ish hours of playthrough.
Okay.
I missed 2 achievements while playing it,
Well,
which was disappointing. Because then I can't actually go back. I'd have to start again, which is a game I would start again. Like that's how much fun I had playing it. I was fine. I cannot believe it. I was like, holy shit.
the one moment, okay, that when it first happens, I just want to know if you got a 2D side scroller doesn't often give me goosebumps because it just doesn't do that. And this isn't even just 2D. This is like what, like 86-bit or something, like the art style they're going for.
Yeah, exactly.
When you go from when you like finish the tutorial phase of that first level, it goes to play as the humans, and you come down in the chopper, and you got to set the C4. That was so fucking cool.
It really was.
Like it really set like that mystery. Like, oh my god, like am I gonna play as this guy hunting the beast now? But no, you're not. But I mean, I didn't finish it, so you might see them
really
again.
Cool.
But...
It was just like a memory flashback, and I thought that was really cool. I was like, because it kind of makes you think. I was like, so wait, you as the creature, are you like because obviously you go around and you collect the like biohazard containers to grow and evolve and shit. So I was like, are you like seeing like some sort of genetic memory because you eating people? Anyways, it's fucking awesome. And for a game that does so little story wise, the end of the game I sat there and I was like, I want a fucking second one, like right now. Like, I want to play a part 2 of this, because god damn, what an amazing game! And it's actually had me start going and playing other 2D side scrollers.
I was just about to ask that. Yeah. So would you give something like Limbo a shot now? Then, eh?
I started Neon Abyss because it was recommended to me by one of our community members.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played as much of it as I wanted to, but again, like I was enjoying it, so it was something that I'm gonna jump back into and keep playing. But yeah, it's just weird. Like for the longest time, like I generally avoided 2D side scrollers, or I would never give them their fair chance. I feel like I'd maybe play 10 minutes of it, and I'd be like, okay, fuck this, I'm out. But after playing Carrion and just the way that it went, so surprisingly amusing.
I think you definitely have to be in a mindset to play, but I think that's like any game. Like I'm not always in the mood to play a 2D side scroller, but they're nice short experiences, and I'm happy that this is a good way to market Game Pass. Like if Phil Spencer is ever going to watch this, fucking hire us because Derek just sold you on Game Pass.
Bro, and that's exactly generally what I'll put in the title of my stream when I'm playing something like that is I'll put like, oh, trying out Neon Abyss. Thank you, G Pass, because if it weren't for Game Pass, I wouldn't pick up these games at all.
Yeah, same.
And it's nice because you play like two of your buddies just like randomly. This game looks cool. You should try it. And you download it because it's free to play. Well, free. I mean, you have it on Game Pass.
Free.
You
It's
play it,
basically
and you're like,
free.
and you're like, this is fucking
At
cool.
this point, I'm saying it's free.
And then you end up beating it. And you're like, man, that was fucking cool. I need to give more of these games a shot. And then you try other games, and it's just that's how it works, right? Like, and that's the beauty of Game Pass that I think a lot of people are missing still in this day and age.
Yeah, Alex, I absolutely love Carrion, and I recommend that everyone here take the time to actually sit down and play through it and beat it, because it's just odd. Like I said, it's just really odd how a game with basically no story, you're just this blob of ground beef and jelly.
Of unsettling fucking ground beef and jelly. Like,
You're just trying to.
No game feels so good, but so like make you feel so weird at the same time. It's strange.
And like Alex said too, is what you two were discussing when we had first talked about this game. And I know I try to avoid bringing up games again. I'm just bringing it up because it fits into the 2D side scrollers and like this like new like opening love of them apparently. The control is even when you upgrade yourself to like your biggest form, you're so squirrely because you're just this big amorphous blob of jelly and raw ground beef. I need to make sure to throw that in. So even just moving around certain corners and trying to get into certain hatches, it's a bit more difficult because you're just this long blob or this like big bunched up blob depending on where you are in the map. And it's just sometimes it's so difficult to navigate into that one small vent that you want to fit into, and it just adds to that feeling that you're literally just this big blob. And yeah, no, I absolutely love the game, and you should all play it and beat it. And I just want other people's take on if the ending leaves people in the same state of mind, right? Like again, no story behind it. The game ended, and I was like, but now what? Like
sometimes there's good moments like that where a game ends and you're just like,
Is Inside on Game Pass?
Inside, I don't think is on Game Pass. I don't think. See, that's the problem. I own it, so it wouldn't say if it was on Game Pass or not.
I feel like
if Inside is on Game Pass, Derek, you probably would like that one.
Inside is like a lot of people would put it on their short list for a game of this generation.
Inside and Limbo. That's yeah.
Well, I'm sure Derek's seen Limbo get played before, but I don't think he's seen Inside get played.
I have not seen Limbo get played, no.
It's made by the same guys, but Limbo is like a last gen. I think it was a 360 game, I'm pretty sure.
It was a 360 game.
Yeah,
but
Limbo was like a almost like black and white game where you play as like a kid and it was like brain snatchers. It also makes you feel very uneasy. And Inside is also makes you feel very uneasy and alone. And also Little Nightmares. These are three games that if you see them on Game Pass, all different kind of like art styles, but they all make you feel uneasy and they all make you go, what the fuck?
Alex also suggested Undermine. Apparently it's getting great reviews.
Is it on
Undermine?
Game Pass? He says it's on Game Pass, yes.
Undermine is one of the newer Game Pass games, yes.
You as an Xbox fan, you'd have to do yourself a service and get through Ori.
Yeah, and that's why, right? I have to thank, I really have to thank Carrion for this, is because I had tried Ori as well, and as nice as I found the game, as much as I was like, I looked at the game and I was like, from a standpoint of, oh my god, it's a beautiful game, but I couldn't really get into it. After having played through Carrion and enjoyed the whole, I mean, I give a lot of credit to the fact that you're playing as the monster in Carrion to my enjoyment of it, but yeah, it kind of has opened my eyes and been like, okay, well, maybe now get back into other ones that you've tried and really give them the chance. Like the most, other than Ori, the other one that I had tried was Unravel, and that was the one that I had gotten the furthest in. But even at that, I didn't get that far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just kind of giving me that like want to go back and play those games because of this newfound enjoyment of 2D side scrollers, which is just weird how one single game can do that for an entire genre. And like Alex, I just want to touch on what Alex says here.
I like your French Quebecer genre, by the way.
Genre. Yeah, it's what happens when you're filing duel. So Neon Abyss, Alex, honestly, for the first like 4 or 5 times I played the levels, I had trouble getting into it, but the more I played it, the more I kind of found enjoyment in it. It took a few to kind of get into, and like I was ready to put it down, and I was like, no, I'll give myself another level. And then sure enough, like 2-3 more levels like run throughs in, I was like, okay, I'm starting to really enjoy this. So I'm gonna give it more of a chance, because I was looking at some of the achievements, and there's like one that's like start a new level like for the 999th time. So I have a feeling that it's just a game that I think from what it looks like is you beat a boss and then you go to the next level and then play through that small little like maze or whatever, get to the next box, and I think it's 5 times, right? So I think it's just meant to be a very small game with kind of random boss encounters, because obviously it was never the same one when I got to the first boss.
Yeah,
It's like randomly generated.
It's kind of like, I think it's kind of like a boss rush roguelike, is it not? Like I think is the kind of style they were going for.
Yeah, it's like you're not really fighting hordes of enemies. You're not going through like 50 rooms before you get through the boss. You're going through maybe it was like 8 to 10 rooms, collecting what you can and then fighting the boss and then moving on to the next stage. So more boss rushy, which was cool, which was part of the reason why I was like, I want to keep giving this a chance, because it was just interesting. Like you die, and if you die fighting the first boss, you don't feel like you wasted 45 minutes of your life trying to get there. You're like, okay, whatever, I'll just jump back in and get there in the span of 5 minutes and fight again. It was really cool. Yeah, I mean that.
Did you play Super Meat Boy back in the day or not?
No.
Super Meat Boy.
No.
I
hear they're working on a second one still. Apparently they've been working on a second one for a long time. I think it was made by one guy.
It's one guy. He's been doing a lot of different stuff too, though. Like he was the one who worked on. He did Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's what he's spent most of his time on since.
But Binding of Isaac is still like 5 years old.
How many times? Yeah, but how many times has he like added stuff to that and done things since then? Like they re-released Binding of Isaac for like the 18th time, like last year. For I don't know what it was called this time, the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth rebirth, something like that. I don't know.
Rebirth.
There's so many like lines to it now. It's just they could have just left it at one add-on to the Binding of Isaac. Fine. And that game, fuck that game. It's so hard. So hard
with these games. I enjoyed Unravel, but as somebody who likes those types of games, I actually haven't finished Unravel either, Derek, so I don't feel bad. I've maybe put in 2 hours into that game. And I
Unravel
was enjoying it. It's fun.
Unravel is a very good game.
It was interesting, right? You're like going and you're kind of unspooling yourself, and
there
then
was something really
more yarn to spool yourself back up.
Yeah,
like,
I was feeling kind of sad. I'm like, man.
Me too. I don't generally feel that way, but I was like,
eventually I'm gonna be nothing. I'm gonna be nothing.
I'm wasting away to nothing here. I can't keep going. Like,
so I don't know. Like, I think like a game like, I think definitely like Inside and Carrion and Limbo. Those games I think will jive with you more than like an Unravel and an Ori, because an Ori is fantastic, but it's like a different type of game, obviously. And
well, Ori and Unravel are both in the same category, I'd say. Then Limbo and Inside and Carrion are all dark 2D side scrollers. Whereas
but Ori is more Metroidvania, where there's
it is
backtracking, there's exploring. You can finish the game and not visit areas. It's more open ended, which my understanding. Carrion wasn't really open-ended from what I played. Like, yeah, there was like kind of different ways you could go, but that was more like a puzzle aspect of finding your way around.
I am letting you know, like in that regards and carrying, there is a tad bit of backtracking that you have to do because obviously some areas only become accessible when you upgrade your skills and
Yeah,
become a bigger blob.
That
So
is more like
keep
that
in-
is Ori in a nutshell, basically.
but it's not like super going back. Like it's like a quick minute. Like what? All right, I'm back to where I need to be. Find the biohazard container. Okay, and now I fuck off.
Yeah. Whereas Unravel doesn't have that at all. Unravel is just kind of, I don't want to say on rails because there is puzzles to it, but it is like just a forward walking kind of game.
Beginning to end, one part of the level to another.
Little Nightmares, Derek. Little Nightmares, if ever goes on Game Pass, we should just fucking share gold, you and I. Fuck Eric. You and I should just share that with some of your shit as games. Then you can play Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares is great.
Little Nightmares is like Tim Burton-esque in art
Oh,
style.
and then you get access to Call of Duty again.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
And,
install all 200 fucking gigs of that shit.
Seriously. I think it's still installed. I just can't play it. I don't have like the license into it.
Oh,
But luckily, again, as as they did say with their last patches, they're finally working on condensing certain files and actually.
well, I uninstalled
trying to
Spec
make the
Ops
game
to make some
smaller.
room because I'm like, I'm not gonna play Spec Ops. So
I think Derek's laptop is experiencing some issues.
Yeah, it is. You're gonna have to give me a few seconds here to
Yeah, no problem. My computer's as cold as ice. Let me just say that. Fans.
No, well, it's just Discord seems to, like with Alex's issue, it seems to eat up a lot of CPU usage.
It did the same on my old PC. I'm pretty sure that's what crapped my old PC out, to be honest with you.
And I think I forgot to end a few tasks before starting this. So I think right now most of my CPU is being fucking eaten up.
Like editing hundreds of photos in Photoshop and having them all open at once was less taxing than Discord was, it felt.
I don't understand why Discord is so fucking...
Looks like you're refreshed. It's because of all the information they're stealing, man.
well, you know what? It's because right now, Derek, I'm looking at it, and Discord runs at least 4 or 5 different exe files at once. Each one a different amount of
my task manager open.
Well, I think even on my PC, I think it runs. I think it's like running like 8 or 10% of the GPU, which is ridiculous for.
Well, yeah, no. Right now, I checked mine, and I had to close. I had to close a bunch of stuff down to make it so that it wasn't.
It is working hard though, and it does its job as little delay as possible. Good quality video and stuff, so it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is.
It is. That's the name of the game. Speaking of games, did I play anything new this week?
Did you play anything new this week?
I don't think I did. I mean, as you know, I've recently got back into Minecraft.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I know that.
played some more Rogue Company. That was fantastic. I don't think I have a lot of games on the back burner I hope to get to eventually. Just not there yet. I was in the mood for Minecraft this week. My first week back to work. It's been rough, you know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing for you. You're using mine to unwind after brutal days at work, so that's fair.
Brutal days on the front line of the COVID.
Yeah, COVID frontline boy
now.
here.
Save the sick whales.
What?
Why are we saving sick whales?
Because COVID.
The whales are sick?
Hail to the king, baby. The whales are definitely sick, yes. You didn't hear? It spread to the whales now.
Is it?
No.
That's not good. Oh.
I'm just trying to get money out of people.
I feel like we'll set up whales now.
I'll split it with you guys.
I like the sound of that.
2080.
I may drop here momentarily, boys, and I do apologize.
That's okay. Maybe, we're at an hour 30 anyway. I know we were on standby for about 10 minutes. That puts us at like 20, sorry. Oh yeah, Derek's definitely dropping. Or his thing is just frozen. It's up to you guys. We can either end it there, or I was wondering if you want to end on one quick cue.
Um,
It might depend on if Derek is here or not.
Well, I would say put us into a break mode for a second now.
It seems like Derek. All right, we will be right back while Derek gets his stuff checked out, and we'll decide. Well, not decide. I think we'll do one more quick coup. There's the one that I suggested earlier that I think we should. I think it'll spark a nice little.
We'll make an
conversation
executive
between us.
decision while we're on break. We will be right back.
Yes. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. We are back. If it's not one thing, it's another with this fucking group of people.
You know it.
Woo woo woo.
So as I was saying before, you either dropped or purposely quit.
I purposely quit it.
I was saying that we are at an hour and a half minus the 10 minutes we're on standby. It puts us at 120. I was wondering if you wanted to end it there or if you wanted to do one quick cue and give a see what we can go on it.
No, you know what? I think we'll call it there. Save some quick cues. We had a pretty decent discussion today, so I'm happy with this.
Mm-hmm. Which will save have a better discussion and some quick cues for when our buddy Alex is back next week.
He's
provided he doesn't stay sick for an entire week.
He's got the Rona.
No, he doesn't.
I hope he was at least smart enough to take his temperature, or his mom was during this trying times. Don't fucking joke with that shit.
Rectal thermometer.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Wow, he's sitting on the can.
All right, so let's take it away, Sean.
I'm Sean, TSG_big time. You can find me at twitch.tv/TSG_big time or on Twitter at BigTimeTSG. I recently opened up a Facebook channel that I also stream on, and I also stream on YouTube at the same time. I don't know the links off by heart, but it's okay. I'd rather you come and watch me on Twitch anyway. I'm just doing it to broaden my horizons and get a little more out there. And yeah, I'm usually playing. I could be playing anything really. I can be playing 4 games in one night because sometimes I'm an indecisive fucker. Lately, it's been Minecraft. Lots and lots of Minecraft. I've aptly named it the creating stuff and things, or things and stuff. And basically, we're just building a city in survival mode, and it's very therapeutic, and it's really cool, and it's coming along really nicely, and it makes me just want to build more and more. Like when it was just 1 or 2 buildings, it's like, man, it's gonna take forever. Now we're at like 4 buildings, and like the road is expanded, and we have what should be a stadium, but is not
half
even
stadium.
close to
Half
be.
stadium.
It's not even a half stadium.
It's not even a half. Okay? Come on,
It's like a fucking 5th stadium.
But the point is that I see things coming together, and it got me pumped. It's getting there. Yeah. That's it for me. And to the right of me, we have hi, I'm Alex. My tag's Axel Haxon. I gotta.
Yeah, might as well plug him, right? His Rise and Grind session, his State of Decay 100-Day Nightmare Challenge. Tactics Tuesdays, where he plays a tactical game.
And then he said he had one other thing that he was going to work on too, but he doesn't know what it is yet.
Something about magic or RPG
Between
or something.
you guys and myself, and not Alex because he's not here, it seems like a very bad idea.
I think he's a giant.
I said that because I hope he's here, and I hope he knows I'm joking.
Wait a minute. Why am I putting my hand? I just realized, I'm sure you guys can see this because you've seen Discord, but I'm putting my hand here like I'm trying to hide my mouth. But really, I'm just showing my mouth through the camera. I should be doing this. And then...
Yeah, our buddy Axel Haxon broadcasts on Twitch at various times a day.
He sucks at most games, but he's still entertaining and a gentleman and a scholar.
All right, so that was Axel's piece. Then we go down.
That would be me, LU Radio DJ. And you'll find me at twitch.tv/LU Radio DJ. LU Radio DJ _
All right, I'm cutting the stream. Got to start this intro right from the start because Kyle can't get his fucking handle right.
Shut up! I did. Twitch.tv/LU Radio DJ, LU Radio DJ _42 on Twitter, and LU Radio DJ at YouTube as well. Stuff that I'm still trying to get the PlayStation 4 to do the streaming right. Thankfully, when I get some fiber, it'll be back to normal.
Some fiber, man, they sell it at Walmart. Just get a fiber one bar, bro.
I'm getting better internet.
Regular?
I'm getting better internet, right?
Your boobs need to be regular for the PS4 streaming?
No. Anyway, and the Xbox streaming, it's just pretty much whatever. Like today I did a couple of the demos that were at the like the Xbox conference. I tried a couple of those for the stream that I had. They seemed both pretty interesting. If they're cheap, I'll get them and stuff like that. So just random things.
That it, good sir?
That is it. So we are on to our last but not least person.
All right, Buds, I am TSG_elusive man. You can catch me at Twitch on that by that handle, on Twitter by that handle, YouTube it's just TSG elusive man, easy enough to find. Anyways, it's basically very similar to that. I just want to take a moment here and I want to announce our brand new segment. All right, so we'll have to inform Alex of this because I don't think he's currently viewing. Next week, gentlemen, we are doing a Guess the Game segment. So, to recap, this is a segment where we pick a game, give a vague description, and try to stump each other. All right? It is... I've drawn up some rules, try to make the game a little more interesting. So, for the rules, all right? 3 hints collectively, all right? So, by all means, it's 1 hint apiece. Okay, let's keep that in mind. There are only 3 hints allowed.
So,
right?
So we can give our vague description, and then we're allowed to give 3 hints after that.
If they're asked for.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to give the hints, all right? So you do not volunteer the hints because obviously, as I continue going through here, you'll see why. All right.
You would have to ask a question, I'm assuming, and then you answer.
One of the contestants. All right. So we're all obviously contestants and host of this as we go around, but the hint must be asked for, and you'll see why in a moment here. All right. It's a 3-minute timer. All right. So you have 3 minutes to guess the game on this vague description. The person describing it can be as vague as they want. All right. Let's try not to be douchebags to each other though. All right. So for every correct guess, you get 3 points. Okay. For every player that is stumped, the host gets 3 points. All right. So if I'm hosting, if I'm describing my vague game to you three forget to use your hints like idiots. That works to my advantage because if I stump all 3 of you, boom, 9 points. All right. Okay. And then every 3rd segment, we announce a winner. The winner gets jack shit fuck all because this is all basically meaningless. I'm taking a book out of whose line is it anyways in this sense, all right? Points basically. Well, I mean, the points matter, but the winner doesn't. but there will still be
Oh.
a winner every third segment. All right. So as you can see, we're also doing this in groupings of threes. I don't know why. I found it. That's what was decided. All right. So again, next week, episode number 8, we're doing our guess the game segment. It will be at the end of the episode for a wrap up. So think about your game. Think about your vague description. I hope people will tune in for it. It should make things fun and interesting. I mean, for us, anyways. I know not everyone's watching, so it's for us, fuckers. That's it for us.
I have before we go out, I had one last question actually.
Oh, what is your
Okay.
question?
Is that I know Alex isn't here. He'd be the one to answer this. But has anybody heard if we'd be having those guests that we talked about? Was there any confirmation? Did he talk to any of you guys about it?
No, there was
No.
no chatting about this.
Because I know there was. I think I joined. It was you and Storm and Alex were in a party, right?
Do you wanna? We'll just call it there. We'll discuss this on the
cool.
Discord for our wrap up.
So have a good night, everyone.
Have a great night, Bud Buds. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks
Later,
for joining
folks.
us. We'll see you guys next week, or probably shortly on a stream elsewhere.
Indeed.